Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Minecraft. This is Michael's house, and this is finally, after 5 years, part two. And here it is. Here's the house. You know, it looks the same. Nothing has changed over the last 5 years. My world that originally contained the house, the world that I originally did the tutorial on, got deleted, got lost in time, so I actually had to rewatch my tutorial to reconstruct the house. But you know, it looks the same. Not too much is different about it. And really, today's tutorial what we're going to do is we're going to try to do a little bit of an interior design. Now, I'm not going to go through all the furnishings with you because I feel like that's something you can do on your own end. But I will say this, that the inside design was very challenging. Now, I know that I've gotten a lot of people saying, you know, let's do part two, let's do part two. Well, here we are. Here we are. We're doing part two. So let's show you the inside first and foremost. So you know you got first of all you got the garage here, and this is pretty much exactly how it is in GTA 5, right? It's kind of the same size. It fits. You know everything's fine. You got the little supply chest up there and whatever, and everything else has remained the same. However, if you go over here, I'm sure most of you have noticed this, but the inside of the house itself is just really compact. It's very small, so a lot of the stuff I had to do was very small. It was all very compact, as you can see. But anyway, moving in here, we have the living room. This is where Michael watches the TV, you know, and stuff like that with his family. Got the kitchen over here, you know, very compact and stuff like that. We got this, which leads out to the outside. And then this door right here, which goes into the garage. And moving upstairs, you know, once again, because this was so compact, I had to do a lot of remodeling on my own end. And I actually got rid, like this general area right here. This is where Michael's room would actually be. But because it was just so small, I had to just, you know, get rid of it entirely and instead just leave this as an open area. But moving in here, this is Jimmy's room, and it's very, you know, darked out, kind of blacked out a little bit. You know, you got the bed, you got everything, you got this TV where he's playing video games like a degenerate, and you know, it's just kind of like a dark theme kind of vibe we're getting out of this room. You know, you can do this however you want. Once again, when we start building in this tutorial, I'll you know, show you how the walls are done and everything like that, like the basic layout. And then moving over here, this is Tracy's room. You know, a little more girlish, a little more feminine. We got the bed, we got everything else. And you'll also probably notice that the bathroom's gone. You know, once again, just this house is so small. So I opted to move Michael's room over here. Like, this is the master bedroom. You know, you can do whatever you want in here. However, you know, this is a survival-friendly house. So you can go about doing this however you want. But really, what I'm just going for here is we have an inside. And that, to me, is all that matters. So without further ado, let's get started with the interior design. So that is my model house right there, and this is the house we'll be working with here. So with that being said, let's get started. All right. So first thing is first, we're gonna start in the garage here. And really, the garage is very simple. What I did was just like from the game. Oh, you know what? Actually, I probably should have did this first. But before you came in here, the original house had a window right here. I actually decided to just move it over just a bit, just to have some room, you know. Looks kind of weird that way. But what I did was, you know, I put a little bit of a shelving unit up. Um, and what did I do? I did chests. I put like chests up here and stuff like that, you know, just whatever. I put like a crafting table furnace there. And then in here for lighting, what I did was, you know, I knocked out these ceiling tiles right here and I just put some redstone lamps in. I really think those are fine. Um, you know, you could do really whatever you want with this, but this is just kind of how I'm working with the space in here. And speaking of shelves, I don't know if anyone's been playing Minecraft recently. I mean, judging by you guys watching this video, I'm sure you have. But I took a break for a bit, and I got back, and I noticed they added shelves. Look at this. You got all the shelves from all the different woods, and I'm just, you know, I'm in shock from this. This is crazy. What, are they gonna add seats next or some sort of more furniture? But yeah, no, it's really interesting. But anyway, moving on the inside here, we have what I did thus far, just to get a kind of basic layout, is I filled this entire area in with granite block. And you know what we're also going to want to do is do this to the second floor. And what I did was I actually did some changes. I destroyed this wall right here. So you can actually take this down. And what this does is, because in my original part one for the tutorial, I left this open as like a balcony, which I was going to do. So we're just going to get rid of that. And you're going to see why in just a second. And well, really why was just because we needed more room. So what I did was, I just opted for windows instead. And that just gave me the space to build Jimmy's room in there, which is fine, in my opinion. I really don't see how that's a big deal. So yeah, if you want, you can just tear that open, and so just so you have more space. And I do apologize, guys, for making this house so compact. I'm sure you guys who have tried to make a interior on your own end have found that to be the case, but I do apologize. And so really what we're going to do now is we're just going to fill this in with granite. All of this, all of this, all of this, all of this, all of this. Fill it in, fill it in. All right. And once you got your, what happened here? Fill that in. Once you got everything filled in, we can get started over here. And so what I did was I actually deleted this, and I'm turning it to not redstone block, granite. And this just becomes the door. There's your front door. Very easy. And what you're gonna want to do from here is you're gonna want to grab out your quartz stairs. And so I don't know if you've played GTA 5, you probably have. Right in front of the door is the actual staircase. So we're going to count 4 blocks back. 1, 2, 3, 4. And about right here, you should have a 4 block gap. These are where the stairs are going to be. And really, the stairs are kind of easy. They're kind of built such like this, such that it goes back another 3, and it curves in this direction. So we can actually put 2 blocks of granite right here. We can cut this open a little bit more, and we can take our quartz and just build up like this. And this is kind of how we're going to do the staircase to the second floor. So just like that. Ooh, hold on. Just like that. We have the staircase. Very easy. All right, now that we have those stairs all situated. Oh, this is completely off topic, but I really love these the vibrant visuals. I love how like the shadows kind of reflect off some pieces of the house. I really think that looks really nice. The sun is even like it's shining into the house, like right through here. It's coming through the windows. Like I think that is beautiful. Um, but from here, what we're gonna do now is for the entryway, we're actually just gonna want to build a little wall up right here. You can make it up to the second floor like that. And then we're actually from here, we're just going to take our block and drag it across to the stairs like so. You could actually just fill that in with smooth just to make it look all pretty. And then for this right here, so this is supposed to be where Michael's room is. What I decided to do was take glass panes and literally just fill it in right like this. And this kind of just overlooks the central area like so. And if you want to make it look even nicer, what you probably could do is just grab some like stairs like this, and you can just plop them along like so, just like that maybe. Like something like this. And so really I'm going to leave this area open. I did mention like, yeah, this is Michael's room, but I just have no room to make his room. It would be way too small. So that's just going to stay open like that. All right, so now that we got this section built, really what we can also do now is just extend this going out just like so. And honestly, this is also going to be part of the upstairs hallway, so we can just leave that as such. Now, for the upstairs hall, we're upstairs right now. What we're going to do for the walls is we're going to bring this coming along here, and this is Jimmy's room right here. We're also just going to bring it all the way to the end right here. Now, for here, we're also just going to wrap this around, and it should come around all the way to here. And this is also just going to be wall, so we can fill this in as such. Interior designs aren't really my cliche. I find them to be much more annoying and difficult than, say, if you were to build an outdoor build. Honestly, people, look at people that build like giant cities in Minecraft. So a lot of them, what they do is they just leave the buildings empty just because, like, it's annoying to build interiors, and it's true. It really is. Just designing this on its own end was just such a pain, but we're making it work. We're making it work. So what we can do now is we're just gonna fill all this in real quick. So let me just do that. All right, now that we got that filled in, the roof is good for the second floor. What we can also do is just take this and just kind of break it because, it really You're not going to see it from the outside. Fill that in with some granite. And then here we can also honestly break some of this right here, and we're going to fill this in with granite. There is a section that we can't break, and it's these because you'll see it from the outside. So we're just going to leave that. Usually what I did in my, as you saw in my, in Jimmy's room, I put a carpet right here, so that conceals that little sandstone bit. And then from here, what we can do to kind of divide the rooms in half, from Tracy's room to Jimmy's room, is I just put a line here. Now, if you've played the original GTA, and I mentioned this before, in this kind of like area right here, there was a bathroom that Franklin actually crawled through to sneak into Michael's house. For this case, as you can see, it's just very, if I were to put like a little space for a bathroom, like say maybe like this big, you can already see like, yeah, there's just no room to build any of the bedrooms on the side. So I just opted to, you know, remove the bathroom entirely and just put a wall right through the middle here. And I really think that does a good job in just giving the room somewhat of a size to them. So that's what we're going to do. And, you know, we can just cut them off like this, add a doorway in Jimmy's room, and then we're going to add a doorway into Tracy's room just like that. And then right here, we can add the doorway into Michael's room or the master bedroom, whatever. And this is it right here. So we have that. And so we have the upstairs area right here, which looks good. And now we're going to move on to the downstairs area. So for the downstairs area, what I did was we have the TV room right here. And the TV room actually is pretty similar to how it is in the game, such that the TV is centered right here. You know, you got a painting and whatnot right here. We also got like a kitchen in this area. We got a, you know, a little parlor, pantry area, whatever. But anyway, first things first, moving along right here next to the stairs, is we're going to just tear this open. We're just going to tear that open and put a block there, whatever. This is going to become a door to the garage, and we can also grab some brick stairs and just put that right here. So now you can just walk in like that, and you are inside the house. So what you can do now is you can actually break this section. And what I did was I took some smooth sandstone stairs like these, and I pretty much just like wrapped them around like this. And I believe I did the same thing on this side, if I'm not wrong. Believe. Yeah, so what I did was I kind of just like wrapped it, and this is a kind of little confusing bit. This here too is sandstone. I can wrap it like this. And you can kind of get something like this, a little design going. And I personally think it looks okay. You know, this is all kind of something you can tweak on your own end, but you know, I personally think it's fine. What I also did was, you know, I wrapped it around like here to kind of get like a little arch design. And if you want to go the extra mile, just take a little slab and just like plop it right about here. That kind of gives you a little arch. And then, you know, what I did was I put like a little bookcase right here to kind of cover up that section. I also put a bookcase like right in this wall right here. I'll actually show you what I did. Let's see here. Bookcase. We can just put it like right in here like so. And, you know, I also put one right there. So something like that. I put some candles on there too. Now moving on over here, what I did was I left a 3-block gap right here. And I actually put a pillar kind of going up. Just like, you know, it acts as like support for the house. And by doing that, what you can also do is you can add like a little arch design going across like this. So I put it right there, and I actually put it right here like that. Alright guys, now for the TV room, what I did was, I actually find this design to be really cool myself, but what we can do is we can just tear up the floor for now. And I'm sure you guys seen this design before, but what people do is they take stripped logs, it doesn't matter which kind, I'm using spruce for the TV room because it kind of gives that darker type of wood. But what people do is, you know, they put logs down like this, and they kind of create like a checkered pattern on the floor. So, you know, you put blocks like that, and you put blocks facing this way, like that. And then, you know, you kind of create like a checkered pattern, such that it'll create a design that looks like this. And personally, I think that, you know, it looks great on wooden floors. I love it myself. But let me just show you what this looks like complete. All right, and that gave us this type of design right here. As you can see, it really looks nice in my, you know, in my opinion at least. But you know, you kind of get that checkered pattern, and it just looks really fancy. So what I did was I did the same thing over here in the kitchen where I just tore up like all this, and I pretty much, instead of using spruce for the kitchen, I used like a lighter wood, so I opted for oak. And you can pretty much just do the exact same thing by just filling it all in. And in my opinion, it just looks so fancy. Like, keep in mind, Michael in GTA, this house is like a mansion. It's rich. So, you kind of want to keep the same aesthetic going, but, with flooring, with furniture, with whatever you do. But there we are with the flooring, like that. Alright guys, so moving back upstairs, what we're going to do now is we're going to add like a little railing to the upper section up here. And actually, you know what? I don't like that. We're going to get rid of that. Or at least I am. So I'm just going to add a little railing going along here like that. And I'm going to add a little torch right there. I'm going to add a torch right there. And by doing that, what it does is it actually creates like a little upwards pillar. You can actually put another one here if you want. And it creates like that upward pillar if you saw. Like, look, when I place the torch down, it makes it go up like that. And that just adds a little extra bit of design detail. And what you can also do is for this upstairs portion in the hall, just add some like paintings and whatnot. And usually for furniture, what I do is I just take like stairs like this, like a little table design like that. And you can put like a painting right there, and then add some like torches like that. That gives you a beautiful like end of the hallway kind of thing. I also put another painting here, I believe, like one of those tall ones. Put some more. I believe I put another one here too. We could actually put some furniture here while we're at it. Let's see here. Do that. And then we could put two little torches right there just to add some light to the upstairs, just like so. And then finally for the upstairs, for the walls and flooring, we can just add a little doorway right here for all the rooms. Should put the doors in like that. Can head over here, do some doors, and really that's the upstairs. So once again, I'm going to leave the interior decorating to you, but you have a bedroom here. Oh, you know what? I forgot to add the windows. Let's just add some windows real quick in here. Windows, just like so. You can add the windows in like that, and we can add the windows in like that. So we have windows on the second floor. We have Tracy's room right here, complete with windows, and finally the master bedroom right here. So really, once again, you can just decorate those as you want. And moving on down to the second floor here, same thing, we have a lot of space for decoration. And one more time, I'll just fly back to the house and kind of show you what I did again. But, I'll leave it to your discretion. And once again, like, when I went in here, you walk in, I added like a red, I believe this is concrete powder for a carpet design, add some texture. Armor stand right there, walking in, we can see that floor pattern that we built right here. Added a little couch right there with a little bit of more red concrete under for a carpet. Here's the TV, which I used black stained glass panes for, and I think that looks really nice. In the game, there's like a fireplace that's under the TV, so we kind of left that area, a little open right there. It looks like a little fireplace, whatever. We got some plants. We got the large ferns for the plants. Moving in here in the kitchen, Michael has a very nice kitchen, such that he has like Roman pillars coming up out of the stove area, and so for that we use quartz pillars. We got some stairs right there and whatnot. And this here, oh, look at that. That's the new shelf design, the new shelves that just came out. And I put them right here, just it makes it look nice, like a little kitchen countertop and whatnot. And I'm just giving you guys some ideas. You can decorate this house however you want. The space is limited, as I showed you. But really, I hope you got something out of this tutorial, some design ideas, and that's just kind of what I intended for. But I hope you enjoyed part 2 to Michael's house. I know it's been a while, guys, and I do apologize for releasing this 5 years after the first tutorial. If you want me to go further with this, I could. We could do some lawn design. I know he, in the video game, at least in Grand Theft Auto, Michael has a pool and tennis court in the backyard, so maybe we could do something with that. But definitely let me know in the comments what you think about this, because we can go further. We can go further. We can even add the driveway. But other than that, guys, I hope you did enjoy part 2. So, yeah, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys sometime later. Thank you.